So let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Well, first I messaged Midgard just fine, even though they've even though this they said probably like 6 months ago or so. I didn't know if Final Fantasy VII Part 3 like what year was going to come out. It was either going to be, I figured it was either going to be 2027 or 2028, more likely actually 2027, even though it seemed a little bit short, you know, in between Rebirth and Part 3 is 3 years. I was expecting 4 years, honestly, but Square Enix has confirmed, at least, that Final Fantasy VII Part 3 will come out in 2027. Most likely, they're not guaranteeing anything, but that's their schedule, so... And with how much they're saying, like they're always on schedule, everything's going smoothly, progression's going well, I think it probably will come out in 2027. So, I'm expecting a lot of the Game Awards this year, honestly. I'm expecting to see something big in Final Fantasy at the Game Awards. And that's probably most likely going to be Final Fantasy VII Part 3, because they still haven't announced the title, but that's where I think where they're going to announce it, the Game Awards. So, yeah, I'm expecting big things, for sure. Not just Final Fantasy, but other stuff too, but yeah, I'm super excited for it to come. We got, like, 2 months, almost 2 months. So Midgar sent me a picture and let me know about kind of like an update about 7 Remake Part 3. And actually, it's going to be like this here. It says, Square Enix is actively considering Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 DLC, Naoki Hamaguchi says, or maybe even another installment entirely. Things are really up in the air. So, what's funny is, like, they're already talking about this, even like 2 years before 7 Part 3 is going to come out. We don't even know the name of 7 Part 3, which I found that really surprising. Is the first thing I thought when I saw this was like, if they're going to come out with a Part 3 DLC, dude, it could be like any number of possibilities with with how the rest of the story is going to go in Part 3. This could be like, I mean, hell, it might even be one DLC. It could be multiple with different characters. You know what I mean? Just like they did with like 15. When Gladius went off in his own, and then Ignis had his own, Proco had his own. I wonder if they could be thinking about doing the same thing with like Sid or Vincent or Barrett, Tifa, who knows? But with the DLC, I've actually been thinking about this a little bit, and I think if that's going to happen, my best guess on what the DLC is going to be is, with what we've got left, with this, what story we've got left in Part 3 is going to be a Vincent DLC. But it's not going to be like Dirge of Cerberus or anything. I think it's going to be like a Lucrezia kind of DLC, you know what I mean? Because in the original, you look at like a little bit of a story between Vincent and Lucrezia, and like a little bit of a background. So I think that would be... I can't think of anything else, honestly. It could be... I mean, well, it could be a lot of things, but I think the best chance is going to be that Lucrezia DLC for Vincent. But however, if they're going to make another installment entirely, my first thought was either a remaster or a remake of Dirge of Cerberus, or they're going to make a video game out of Advent Children. That was my very first thoughts. Dude, either one of those, or hell, both of those, would be fucking amazing. It says, can you get too much of a good thing? That's the question Square Enix... Never. That's the question Square Enix is asking when it comes to the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. As we head towards the third and final part, both additional DLC and a whole other game are on the table, according to director Naoki Hamaguchi, for when the main narrative is all wrapped up. This is getting me really excited, honestly. Is getting so fucking excited. I mean, I'm surprised that he even teased this early, you know what I mean? Like, if there was going to be a possibility of this, I would have thought he would have teased it like probably 6 months after the game has come out. You know what I mean? So be talking about it now, 2 years probably before the game comes out. And he says, with the conclusion of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, there's probably going to be a much wider audience for Final Fantasy as a whole. Whether we bring another new DLC or a full title, that's something we're actively considering. All right, I do expect that 7 Part 3 is going to get more sales, and a big part of it is because Rebirth was only out for PS5. It was just PS5 exclusive. Now they're gonna make Part 3 for everything, pretty much. And I'm expecting it to be like over 2 million at least. Probably like 3, maybe 4, maybe double, maybe triple. Who knows? But Queen's Blood suggests as a possibility, which I do not agree with. Queen's Blood should not be its own game. It's just a card game. You know, it's not something probably anybody's gonna want to play. And Hamaguchi minimizes the likelihood of that. Okay, Hamaguchi minimizes the likelihood of that. Okay, good. But it specifies things are really up in the air at the moment. We've had plenty of 7 spin-offs already, including the Vincent Center, Dirge of Cerberus. There you go. Doing more to carry on the aesthetic and narrative qualities of the remake trilogy only makes sense. Yep. Okay. Thank God.